Aloha, everyone, and thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Trauma Recovery University. I'm your host, Athena Moberg, and this is my incredible co-host, Bobby Parrish, and tonight's topic is coping with triggering news stories. Now, that can be the traditional media, or even social media, or even the newspaper, or perhaps magazines, or different ways that you consume your news, whether that be on Twitter, Facebook, or other types of social media. So if you're an abuse survivor, which you probably are if you're watching our channel, we want to give you a heads up that this episode could get very, very triggering, as the topic suggests, how to cope with triggering news stories. So if you are triggered during this broadcast, we just want to remind you to reach out to our friends over at RAINN, that's RAINN.org. And you can also reach them at 1-800-656-HOPE. And please practice excellent self-care if you're listening on a podcast platform such as iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spreaker, or iHeartRadio. We want to remind you that this is a video broadcast. You can find us on our YouTube channel or on our Roku TV channel. And we're excited that you're here to join us. You can search for us on Roku TV or on YouTube by searching for Trauma Recovery University. As a thank you for being one of our loyal listeners, viewers, or just awesome survivors, we want to show our appreciation by giving you not only access to today's downloadable PDF resource, which is a one-page resource for you to use and follow along during this broadcast, but we would like to give you access to 100% of our digital downloadable PDF resources that are all one page, and they match up with the perspective video of the exact same title. So you can get complimentary access to today's resource as well as our entire library of downloadable resources by going to traumarecoveryuniversity.com and clicking on the tab that says Downloadables. You can also access that by going to nomoreshameproject.com and clicking on Downloadables. Now, I'm going to turn this over to my amazing partner, Bobby Parrish, in just a moment, and she is going to continue to tell you about our second annual anthology and some other housekeeping items or current events. And just want to remind you again that today's topic is going to possibly be triggering as we do delve into the topic of how to cope with news and social media stories that can be triggering for abuse survivors. So without further ado, I'm going to turn this over to Bobby, and thank you so much again for spending this hour with us. We appreciate you. Take it away, Bobby.
Hi, everybody. I'm so glad that you're here tonight. And like Athena said, we're very grateful that you would choose to spend an hour of your week with us, and we're honored. And we want to make sure that during this broadcast, you get some very useful and helpful information so that you can feel better today. That's all about what our broadcasts are for, and the one-page downloadable PDFs that Athena referred to. It's just one quick grab-and-go sheet of information with a little bit of education about the topic, and then some actionable steps and strategies you can take to feel better today. In case you don't know, if you haven't been watching us before, Athena and I are both survivors of childhood abuse, and so we know what it's like to go through recovery. And for both of us, our recovery journey was very long and complicated. And as both helping professionals and survivors, we've put together what we found to be the best information so that your recovery is much simpler and quicker. So we encourage you to take advantage of all the resources we have here on YouTube, on Roku TV, and on our website. And then I'm very excited to talk to you about some new books that are coming up. And the first one has an invitation for you to be part of the book. This is our anthology. Woo, there we go. That we published last year. And I know it's backwards. I'm sorry about that. But it's called
It's
Discovering.
not backwards over here, Bobby.
Really? Oh, good.
It's not. like you remember I'm like, I'm sorry to interrupt your monologue, but it's not backwards when we see it. I swear it looks perfect.
Okay, good. Oh, sorry, guys. This obviously, we're learning so much right along with you guys. Anyway, this is our first anthology that we published during No More Shame November, which is our international advocacy campaign for survivors of childhood abuse, awareness and advocating for all of you. And we will take submissions for our second annual anthology through the end of this month, which is May. So through the 31st, which I believe is this Sunday, we would love to have your submission. Essay, poetry, anything nonfiction. We don't want stories. We want your personal experience. And we would love to receive something from you. So go to the website, traumarecoveryuniversity.com, and there's a tab that says book. And if you click on that, you will be able to read all the information. How do I submit a post? What does it have to look like? Where do I send it? What are the specifics, the ins and outs? All of it's there for you. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact us at nomoreshameproject@gmail.com, and we'll help you sort through things. But again, this is an effort to get more stories out there in the world about survivors so people know what it's like to be on the journey that all of us are on together. And so submissions again through the end of the month of May, and the anthology will be published by our publisher, Book Trope, in November of 2015. And so if you're not going to submit this year, we definitely want you to submit next year. And on the heels of that, I want to make sure that you know that Athena and I have several books coming out. You know what, Athena, maybe somewhere on the website we can put the covers and some information about the books so people know what to expect and when they might be coming?
You know what? That is a great idea. And you know what else I think I might do? I wanted to ask you about this, and since we're on the air, I might as well just ask you live. But I was thinking that it would be nice if we made the covers and the information, like made it clickable. And when they click through, if they want to receive a complimentary chapter of the book, then it'll take them to like a link where they just enter in their email address, and then they'll instantly receive a first chapter or a complimentary chapter of each book.
Absolutely. So fantastic idea.
Ask you about it, but I want to do that. I just didn't. I had been so busy. I just didn't ask you. So yes, excellent idea.
Yes. We've both had a pretty busy week, so look for that on our website. I have my memoir coming out through Book Trope, the same publisher for the anthology, called Flyaway Girl. And then I have another book called Healing After Abuse that is a self-help book for survivors of childhood abuse. And Athena has an incredible book called Aloha for the Soul coming out that is all about the power of choice in our lives and the 5 most powerful choices that you can make to have a fulfilling, joyful, empowering life. So we would encourage you to jump over to the website. Pretty soon we'll have a link where you can download a chapter of each book so you can kind of know what they're about. And we'll try and give you some details about when they're going to drop for publication. And so that's kind of all I have in terms of housekeeping issues. Again, tonight we're talking about coping with triggers from news stories. And I know that, there are times for our followers in the UK, you guys have had a year of horrible, horrible triggering news stories about child abuse and the scandal that's currently going on in that country of uncovering all of this awful stuff that happened years ago for many of you. And here in the United States, we've certainly had not quite as many, but we have had some pretty significant triggering news stories lately. And we don't want to talk about those because we want this to be a safe broadcast, and so we don't want to talk about those things that are triggering people. But we just want to let you know that we understand it can be very hard. Athena and I have had a deluge of messages in our inboxes, email, Facebook, Twitter, of people writing to tell us how hard these last 10 days for us have been as we have negotiated here in the United States through a pretty powerful eruption of a scandal. And it can be very, very painful. And given that, we went ahead and bumped out the topic we were going to talk about this week, which was going to be procrastination. We'll do that next week. But we thought now is a really good time to talk about this and talk about how media stories influence us, how they impact us, especially when the scandal is so huge that it seems like there's nowhere you can turn, that you're not slapped upside the head with someone's opinion. And of course, everyone has an opinion, and some of the opinions themselves are very triggering. So that's what we're talking about tonight. Athena, have you had any kind of experiences with this week that you want to talk about before we delve into the one page?
Well, actually, I've had quite a few experiences this week, and it's been, if you're an abuse survivor, you totally understand when I say this. It has been a interesting week because of the news media, traditional media, as well as social media. And in addition to that, the responses from loved ones or family or whoever. And I'm a little bit at a loss for words as to how to go about explaining that or talking about that. I think the message that, I'm not going to follow our tweet stream for a minute. If you want to interact with us live, by the way, as always, I completely forgot to mention earlier, we monitor the hashtag #NoMoreShame every single week during our broadcast. And we monitor the hashtag #NoMoreShame 365 24/7. If you want to get a message to me and Bobby and I, literary geniuses that we are, you need to just use the hashtag #NoMoreShame, and that's pretty simple. Otherwise, you can send us emails. We'll give you our contact information later. But so anyway, regarding the this last week with the traditional media and social media and the way that all of the breaking news has gone on, everybody has a different coping strategy. Everybody gets affected differently. Sometimes you'll say one thing one way, and it won't affect people to the degree that you think that it will. And then 3-4 days later, they hear the same thing said by someone else, and all of a sudden they're collapsing, melting down. They're in a puddle, and they need support. So I've had quite a few emails. I've had quite a few text messages, and more private Facebook. I've had more private Facebook messages in the last 4 days than I've had probably in 9 months. It's been very triggering. I mean, this is, people in the UK, people in the United States. I'm sure there are some things going down in Canada that I don't even know about right now, and our audience is now reaching Spain and Portugal and Australia, New Zealand, Philippines, and I know I'm leaving someone out, Bobby, because we were so surprised that we were somewhere else. I can't remember which one it is.
Italy.
Italy, yes. So, yeah, I mean, you guys, we are in recovery with you. Today's broadcast was slightly delayed because my executive functioning is greatly affected by post-traumatic stress disorder, and I have been extremely triggered by the deluge of emails and Facebook messages that I've received from people that are just not upset for themselves, but they're seeing news stories and things in newspapers and in their social media posts that are just heartbreaking as it pertains to other people that were victimized and never cared for and never protected. And it's so heartbreaking when you've been in a place where you have felt unworthy of love or kindness or protection, and all you do is sit back occasionally and wonder why was I not protected? Why didn't my dad let me live with him instead of making me go back to my mom's house? Why didn't my grandma know what was going on and do something about it? Why did my uncle molest me to begin with? Why did my mom marry an abuser who almost killed her? And why? And why was I not important enough to be taken out of that? And when you see a news story come across, like the things that are going on in the news right now, and you start empathetically and compassionately going, wow, I know what that feels like. It can be literally crushing. And so my coping strategy has been that I just need to keep myself busy. I need to focus on all of my web development projects. I need to focus on my graphic design. I need to focus on getting my online businesses up and running so that I have passive streams of income going into my bank account so that I can stay here and do the work I love. And that is how I have chosen to cope with everything that's going on. But I'm telling you right now, before I turn this back over to Bobby, I am no less affected by this than you guys are. It's very painful.
It is. And I think the news itself is one thing, but the meaning that the news has to those of us who have walked that road is what is most triggering. And like you said, Athena, not everyone around us understands why we're triggered. And if we get enough nasty feedback from people about, I don't understand, that happened 3 decades ago. Why can't you just get over that about our own experience? And now here we are, triggered by something that's in the news, and the things we hear from our loved ones are, I don't get it. It has nothing to do with you. Why are you letting that bother you? And of course, the judgment is thick in any kind of a statement like that. So now we're not only triggered by the news story, but now we feel ashamed that we're being triggered. And it's just, layer upon layer upon layer. And it's a slippery slope, because you can see yourself literally, you're walking along, you're doing good, everything's great. Boom, hits this big news story. You're triggered. You need a little extra support. Now your family and maybe the people around you aren't very supportive. And pretty soon you're losing your traction as you're starting to slide down that slope into, a lower mood, a PTSD episode, you name it.
Hypersensitivity.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I've just been so hypersensitive, you guys, and we don't want to make this broadcast all about us, but we do want to just let you know that you're not alone. And when you are struggling in the midst of PTSD, or gosh, why am I not able to handle things the way that I normally handle them? And oh my gosh, I'm normally able to juggle 12 plates and still cook dinner at the same time and take care of the kids and pick up this and do that, and all of a sudden, whack, right between the eyes, you're not able to juggle everything that you're used to juggling. So if that's you, we want you to know that you're not alone. Bobby and I are the queens of multitask. She's a single mom to an amazing son. I've walked those shoes, and it's not easy. I'm navigating the the landmines of running multiple online businesses to try to fund this No More Shame project and keep Trauma Recovery University doors open. And Bobby is writing full-time and doing everything she possibly can to produce content for you guys to be equipped. And so I'm going to just shift just a little bit because this is where the good news happens, okay, guys? The trigger toolbox that we are getting ready to tell you about as a way for you to feel better today, we're able, Bobby and I are able to put our heads together, and I mean, we've literally spent multiple times, we've spent 6 hours or more on Skype together at a time. If this trigger toolbox that we are telling you about and the ways that we're going to be describing things to help you feel better when social media smacks you upside the head or punches you in the face, then let us know, and we'll get that put together as soon as possible. Send us a tweet, send us an email, send us something and say, yes, I want a trigger toolbox. I need a trigger toolbox. I need step by step by step by step by step exactly what to do when traditional media and social media punches me in the face. Just send us a tweet, send us an email, send us a Facebook message or something, because we're here for you and we want to give you exactly what you want. And so I just want to throw that out there. Got a tremendous response last week when I mentioned that, hey guys, send us this, and then everybody responded. So that's your call to action, guys. That's your call to action. Send us a tweet, send us an email. I want a trigger toolbox for when life punches me in the face. That's all you have to write.
Exactly. And not just social media, but any time that, maybe it's, going to Christmas with your family and your abuser's going to be there and you're going to get triggered. I think one of the most powerful things that Athena and I can do for all of you is to equip you. Equip you with tools and strategies to deal with recovery. Okay, so you're not being triggered today, but let's build that toolkit so you have it handy, so when you are, you're empowered. One of the things that she and I have talked about time and time again is that during our personal recovery, we did not get a lot of information about trauma. Nobody ever talked about a toolkit with me. Nobody ever talked about actionable steps. Nobody ever told me these are the stages of recovery. First, you're going to feel this, and then you're most likely going to go here. That's why we're here. We've taken as much information as we can. We've done years of research. Both of us have worked with hundreds of survivors, and we're trying to distill this information down to give to you. And so if you think having a trigger, my tongue is not working, a trigger toolkit would be helpful to you, and as we go through the one page tonight, you'll see a little bit more about what we mean, let us know. And we would be glad to put something together so that you have that in your back pocket, ready to go when you're triggered. Because I'm not so sure that it's possible as a survivor to go through recovery without being triggered. And certainly there's no shame in being triggered. But let's have the steps that we need to deal with it so that when those times hit, you're empowered to react and to feel better. So let's take a look at the one page. I'm going to go ahead and pull that up. There it is.
While you're pulling that up, I wanted to do an announcement that I forgot to tell everybody about. And if you got, tell us how you guys feel about this, because we're just jazzed and happy dancing about it. But we have recently received emails because of Bobby's bravery and courage of going on and doing this virtual summit with Slava Brooks. We were noticed by a couple of universities, like in the United States, like University of blank, the state. And so they are now sending out emails to their colleagues and fellow professors and helping professionals that are letting them know that our one-page downloadable resources that we give you complimentary access to, those PDFs, along with hopefully are the videos that match up with the topic are going to be used as a supplement to what it is that they are teaching in their schools and equipping people with. So that is just a huge, huge, huge thing. Next stop, Oprah. Hello. Next stop, Ellen. Hello. I mean, we are going to be, and I also got invited to do a lecture at a college recently, and I haven't made travel plans because it's so expensive, and I don't think I'm being paid to give a lecture. But it's awesome to be invited. It's just an honor to be nominated. So I just want to let you guys know that we're super excited, and we need you guys to cheer us on and tell anybody that you know who knows anybody in any university anywhere that Trauma Recovery University would love to supplement whatever it is that they're doing in their university to help trauma survivors, whether it's rape, abuse, whatever. Equip the parents of the abuse survivors. What do you do when your kid's been abused? Oh my gosh. I mean, whatever. So just wanted to throw that out there. I realize that we're running short on time here, and we're right in the middle of our broadcast. We have 30 minutes to go. So take it away, Bobby. I know we have that beautiful, awesome one page.
That's because you make it beautiful.
Well, you write everything. It's awesome.
There we go. Okay. So the first couple of paragraphs are things that we have been talking about over the last half hour. That life and work. And it's interesting because this morning in chat, now if those of you who aren't familiar with what we do, every week we have a topic for what we're going to be talking about. And the places that we talk about that topic start on Monday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time or 6 p.m. in the UK. We have a Twitter chat. And we talk about this topic. Like, for example, this week we're talking about coping with news stories, coping with triggers from news stories. Last week we talked about self-confidence. So we'll have the initial Twitter chat on Monday morning/evening, and then Monday evening we will do this Google Hangout, and then tomorrow on Tuesday at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we will have our second Twitter chat of the week. And again, it's the same topic through all three, and it's interesting to watch and see how the topic evolves over the course of those three different events. So if you want to join us for any of those Twitter chats, we would love to have you. The information, we'll share it with you a little bit later here in the broadcast, and it's also up on our website, traumarecoveryuniversity.com. So this morning we were talking in chat, and we had several people who were there who were helping professionals, who are therapists, or technicians at mental health clinics, and they were talking about how they get triggered just by the work that they do, which makes perfect sense. You know, you're working with trauma survivors, they come in, they're talking to you about their pain, that can be triggering. Even though we are trained as helping professionals, how to compartmentalize what we do, we're also human beings, and sometimes it is triggering. So life and work often require us to navigate a firestorm of triggers. And I love that word firestorm because it very much is that for us. It's the best analogy that I can come up with aside from how it feels like navigating a minefield. You know, you're not sure where you should step, but you do know should you step on a mine, you know, you're going to be pretty badly damaged. But we go through a firestorm sometimes when we're in recovery. We certainly go through a firestorm when we're being abused. But when we have these significant triggers in the news media, it can evoke a whole new firestorm. And for, you know, small slices of time, it can feel very, very painful. For survivors of childhood abuse, breaking news stories about pedophiles, family secrets, and rape flood our social and traditional media channels. You know, any way you turn, whether it's on Twitter or on Facebook, or, you know, watching the news at night, or reading a magazine, or listening to the radio, anywhere you turn, there is a story about this particular scandal or this particular incident that is hitting the public. And so we recognize that this happens, and we want to let you know that you shouldn't be ashamed if you're triggered. It's part and consequence of recovery. So please don't feel ashamed if you're feeling triggered. And we'll give you some ways to help reach out and get some support. The reason that the triggers are most challenging when they carry the messages that we heard from our abuser or our family. And the predominant message that I have heard this last week, that survivors are feeling like just like Athena reiterated earlier, it awakens in us that feeling that we were not worthy enough of being protected. Because this particular news story talks about some victims of abuse that it doesn't seem got the support they needed, and they did not get the protection that they needed from the people who should have protected them from a sex offender. And that is so triggering for most of us, because it's very rarely that we spoke up about our sexual abuse and we were immediately, our abuser no longer had access to us, and we were given counseling and help, and we were 100% supported by our families and those that loved us. I mean, that would be the miracle response. But I have to tell you, the number of times I hear people say that is the response they got when they reported their abuse is maybe 1 or 2% of all the survivors I've ever worked with. And we have to remember that our abuse is one set of trauma, and how people respond to our reports of our abuse can be another very, very painful source of trauma. And I have worked with people for whom that reporting and going through that awful place of either being ostracized and judged by their family for reporting, or going through a criminal trial where they were doubted and judged and their abuser was acquitted, all of those things can be more traumatic than the abuse incident itself. And so I really want people to recognize that your trauma did not stop when the abuse stopped, that it very well continued as you made an effort to report and get help for your abuse. Last week, Athena she shared with us an absolutely gut-wrenching story about when she shared at school with her counselor. And she didn't volunteer the information. They came to her and said, hey, you know, what's going on? Is there something going on? It's okay. You're safe. You can tell us. And she told, and then what did they do? They went to her family, and she was immediately picked up from school by a family member who punished her severely for talking about what was going on at home. And I know if you're not a survivor, you might think that happens very rarely, but I can tell you it doesn't. It's altogether too common. And so many things are going on in our hearts, in our minds, when these things come into the news. And it's not just about, you know, that is a horrible situation. It's about, and this reminds me of my horrible situation. And it just awakens some beasts in our memory that maybe we had put to sleep for quite a while. So it doesn't just trigger tangible memories. It can trigger some pretty powerful emotions. And I really want to validate that for everyone who's listening. And like the last paragraph, that sentence says, from there we can begin a journey down a very slippery slope to depression, despair, and hopelessness. Athena, before I go in to talk about any of the the steps that we can take. Is there something that you want to chime in and add?
Well, I think I just want to remind everyone, like, we don't really promote this as much during the middle of the broadcast as we do at the end every week. So I just want to mix it up a little, and I do want to let you guys know right now, if you're watching this right now, and it's today, it's tomorrow, it's 10 years from now, it's 2 in the morning, you are experiencing insomnia, you're in the middle of depression, PTSD, you have been diagnosed with some sort of autoimmune disease, Epstein-Barr, you have cancer because you never went to the doctor and took care of yourself, and the reason you never went to the doctor is because doctor's appointments are triggering because you were molested, or however long the trail goes down the rabbit hole. We want to tell you that you're not alone, and we want to tell you right now to pull over the car if you're listening on a podcast, or whatever you need to do to write something down or type a message to yourself. Send yourself a text message and type this out or write this down right now. Write down the words, I am not alone. Athena and Bobby want to help me. And then put a little note on there to contact us on Facebook so that you can get plugged in to a safe place of awesome, amazing survivors that will love on you, be kind to you. They won't judge you. They will just give you virtual hugs through the internet. And they'll be a source of support for you, a sounding board, a place of kindness and unconditional love and support that you've never received in your entire life. And to this day, I'm telling you right now, if you're listening, we have messages from people that are as old as 70 years old, and the messages say, this is the first time I've ever felt like I belong in my whole life. And that can be you. If you feel like you don't belong because you're just having memories of your abuse, if you feel like you're triggered and you're spiraling and what's wrong with me and why can't I just get over this? And if you're beating yourself up, just stop. Write down, Athena and Bobby want to help me. And then contact us, send us a private Facebook message, go to facebook.com/Trauma Recovery University. I know we have so many of them.
I have no clue.
For me on Facebook. You can Google it. Just Google us. Hi, Google. We're promoting you. Google Bobby Parrish or Google Athena Moberg and find us on Facebook or Twitter or something. Get in touch with us right now, today. Don't wait. Don't put it off until January when you buy your gym membership. Just contact us and let us know you're spiraling, you need help, you don't know what to do, you want to be plugged into a group. And it is the greatest choice you will ever make. And I need you to know that right now. So thank you for asking me if I had anything to say, Bobby. I love you. I want us to go on the list now because the list is awesome.
But you know, I am completely trustworthy of when you know you need to share something, it's because somebody out there needs to hear it. So to whoever needed to hear that, please friend us on Facebook. Let us know you want to be plugged in, and we will do it. We've put a lot of people in support groups in the last couple of days, and we're absolutely delighted to do it. Okay, so to cope with the triggers, so you don't find yourself sliding down that slippery slope into a rabbit hole, put these tips and strategies into use. And the first one is avoid social media and traditional news outlets, such as TV and print media, until the news dies down. I think sometimes as survivors, we need permission to do these things because they seem so unusual. You know, when something becomes newsworthy, it seems like everyone around us, they want to watch more news. They want to read the newspaper. They're Googling things. And yet for us, the healthiest thing might be to shut that internet down, not to watch the nightly news, or to, you know, pick up your remote and hit the mute button when a story comes up about the subject that's in the news. Whatever you need to do is perfectly okay. And there is absolutely no shame in stepping back for a while. So if that is something that would help you, by all means, walk away from that for a while. And then the second one is to access increased support by joining in community with other survivors more often than you are doing now. I think one of the most painful things about recovery is that we're so cloaked in shame that we want to isolate and we want to stay away from people. And yet the reality is we need to do just the opposite of that to help ourselves feel better and to get rid of that shame. We have coined a phrase that says community is shame's kryptonite, and it definitely is. So when you feel triggered by all of this, by all means, step further into community than you are now. And like Athena said, if you want to join one of our support groups, in the last few days, our support groups have been off the charts powerful. They have been a place where people could come in and say, I am just at my wit's end. And people will say, how can I help? What do you need? You know, I'm praying for you, you know, sending you comfort. What do you need? How can we help? And it's just very powerful to be amongst people who get you and who want to help you. But you know what? The flip side is also true. When you have survivors come into that support group and you see someone post that they need help, it's very powerful to be able to give it. And even if you say, you know what, I got no advice, I'm there with you, but you know what, I understand and you aren't alone. It's powerful to be on the giving end and it's powerful to be on the receiving end. So by all means, when you're triggered, when this firestorm hits, instead of retreating into isolation like you feel driven to do, instead step forward into community with survivors. I think one of the things that was also that's very triggering right now with this scandal that's going on is that there is intense arguing on social media right now about who's at fault, who's not at fault, what happened, what didn't happen, who's bad, who's good, who's evil, who's, you know, blessed by God.
Can I interject here and add to that list?
Yes.
I got an email talking about how it's worse because everybody thinks it's worse because they're girls. If it would have been boys, or I don't even know what the email said. It was too triggering for me. I deleted it. So yes, I delete your emails if they're triggering to me, and I will go back to my deleted items later and I will read them. But you know, it's my email box. Be kind. So I want to say something right now, okay? This is not a boy or girl issue. This is an abuse issue. This is a pedophile issue. Abuse is abuse is abuse is abuse is abuse. It is not she or he. It's not. And we're going to keep saying that over and over and over and over again. We are a community of survivors. When I see you, I see survivor. I don't see boy or girl. I am not minimizing the fact that there is less care available out there for men than there is women. And I am fiercely working on that to try to get more care for men available. But I am also fiercely protective of our survivor community as a whole, and I refuse to address every week or however often when something comes up, I refuse to dissect it into boy category, girl category. This is painful, it is abusive, and it is triggering, and it is awful, and I'm not going to stand for it. This is our community, and we need to love each other regardless of what sex we are, whatever gender we are. And I will be ending my rant and stepping off of my soapbox now and lowering my voice back to a conversational tone. Thank you.
But you know, that is part and parcel of what goes on and what has been going on this week. I read, someone told me that I was contributing to the problem by talking about it, and that my talking about it was humiliating the victims. And I thought, well, that's a subtle way of victim shaming. You know, how is it that something that they had no control over, something where they were completely victimized, this person obviously thinks they have something to be humiliated about. And I'm here to tell you, and I know Athena will tell you, you have nothing to be ashamed of. You have nothing to be ashamed of as a survivor of childhood abuse. But on the other hand, I am very much a big believer of your story about your abuse should be yours. It shouldn't be anyone else's to tell. So I kind of get that, but again, I don't like that implied message that we as survivors should be humiliated about our story. No, not going to buy that one. That one's victim blaming and that one's victim shaming. So
well, it would be different, Bobby, if you were the person that broke the news. If
yes.
you were the 411 of the world, yeah, that would be like, oh, thanks for telling someone else's story. But that's not the case. That's not what you did. You came online and you said, hi, this is who I am, and this is how I'm affected right now, and this is the message of hope that I want to share with everybody else out there who's hurting.
Yeah.
So I am mama bared to the wall right now. People, do not mess with me. Just do not.
See, now you want to have her on your side, don't you?
It takes a lot to get me there, but man.
So the whole tip that we want to share is, and Athena did a good job. She got this email. It was baiting. It was triggering. And she went, delete. So don't allow anyone to bait you in.
Eventually. I'll go back and read it eventually. But I'm telling you, I mean, come on. It's my email box.
That's right.
Lord.
So don't allow anyone to bait you into defending your experience or arguing about aspects of the news story. And we talked about that this morning in chat too, about setting boundaries with people. If they bring up the news story in conversation, it's okay to say, you know what, I'm not talking about that right now, and then change the subject. And people were saying, oh, I can't do that. That's a hard one. I understand. We understand boundaries are a very, very difficult issue for survivors to set. But they're also one of the most powerful things you can do for yourself to have a recovery. And Athena and I are working on putting together an online course about setting boundaries. So stay tuned for this one, because we honestly believe it's so important. It's critical in your recovery to set healthy boundaries. And the next one, increase the amount of exercise you're getting. You know, it's interesting. I talked this morning to my psychiatrist. I have a psychiatrist because I take medication for my depression and my PTSD, and I probably will for the rest of my life. But she was talking to me about new research that shows that 16 miles a week of exercise, whether it's swimming, walking, jogging, cycling, has been known to be as effective in combating depression as an antidepressant. So they're still working on that one, but what I do know for certain is that 15 minutes of cardio activity will increase your brain's production of mood elevating hormones. So if you want to feel better fast, get out there, elevate your heart rate, do some cardio activity for just 15 minutes. That's it. And you will feel better. Practice excellent self-care. Now is a good time. Here we go, trigger toolkit. Now is a good time to assemble and access your trigger toolkit. So if you don't have one, now is a good time to put one together. And that is comprised of things like deep and slow breathing. All you want in that toolkit is a variety of tools that you can pull out and try. Not everyone is going to work in every situation, just like not every tool works in every situation. A hammer can't do what a screwdriver can do.
Yeah. And if you need a drill, do not go for a screwdriver if you need a drill. It is going to take you 5 years to screw that in with a screwdriver, and when you just need one of those little hand drills, like,
you know, at that point, I'd be reaching with my hammer and just banging that sucker in there.
Right.
So this morning we talked about some strategies too in chat, and people talked about meditation, grounding strategies, and you can do a whole variety of things to put them on your list, to know that when you're triggered, you have some strategies to go to. And you know, Athena made an excellent point earlier. When our PTSD is triggered and it flares up, our executive functioning can go out the window. And we have an episode on executive functioning. And so if you struggle with that, I really want to point you towards that episode and the downloadable on our website. Executive functioning is essentially the control room of our brain. It controls processing pros and cons, short-term memory, making decisions, logical reasoning, the problem solving, the capacity to go to recognize what needs to be done and go from A to B to C to D. All of those things fall apart when we are triggered and our PTSD flares up. That's why it's very important to compile these toolkits and these strategies when you are not triggered, when your executive functioning is working really well. So you have that, you're ready to go, because I can tell you, we don't often have the opportunity to foresee knowing we're going to be triggered. Sometimes we do, like going to spend Christmas with the family, including your abuser, you know, Uncle Joe. You're pretty much sure you're going to be triggered, so you're going to have your toolkit ready. But at other times, things, you know, we've talked about it before, that term ninja triggers. They just seem to come out of nowhere.
Oh, yeah.
Athena, was it Peter Sellers and the Pink Panther where he had that assistant or valet or something who would dress up in a ninja costume, and his whole purpose was to attack Peter Sellers out of nowhere, so Peter Sellers would increase his fighting skills?
I think it was Pink Panther.
Okay, see, yeah. I mean,
I think it was.
Yeah, that is exactly what ninja triggers are like. They come out of nowhere and attack us. And I'll tell you, if you aren't trained, if you aren't ready, you're not going to be as capable to cope with them. And again, that's why we want you to have your trigger toolkit up and going. And then the last thing, which is so important for survivors who feel like they are the only person in the whole world who feels like they do, for the survivor who wants to isolate and just curl up in a cave and wait for everything to blow over, you need to know you are not alone. You are not alone. So let us know when you need to join in community. Come be with us. Join one of the Twitter chats. Join one of our support groups. We're there to let you know that you aren't alone.
I'm going to step away for 2 seconds, Bobby, as we're just finishing up this one page. I just want to grab my charger because I have a feeling that my computer might die right in the middle of us saying goodbye to everyone.
Okay.
Okay, one moment.
And by all means, if you are so highly triggered that your feelings of anxiety or perhaps depression or PTSD are really significant, this is the time to reach out for more help than you're getting now. Not just to plug into a support group, but get some trauma recovery coaching. Get in touch with a professional. If you have a therapist and you're not scheduled to see them again for a couple of weeks, give them a call and either have a chance to talk to them. Some therapists will allow you to do that, to talk with them outside of a session, or schedule a more immediate appointment. You're worth it. It's important. I think both Athena and I can attest to how important it is to arrest those anxieties, that depression, that PTSD before it gets worse. Because the more strong it becomes, the more difficult it is to stop and arrest that slide down the slippery slope. So by all means, ask for help. Reach out for help. You're worth it, and you deserve it. Let me see if I can get back to...
Oh, you can. You're such a pro.
Stop. Yay.
Yay.
There I am. Oh, it was backwards for a minute. I hope this has been helpful. I know that it's been a difficult time, and it has not been without pain for both Athena and I as well. And so please know you are not alone. There is nothing wrong with you because you feel triggered. In fact, if you have not done significant recovery work and you're not triggered, I'm wondering if things are a little more repressed and buried, then might be good. But only you know that. I certainly can't judge from this point of view. I just want to let people know that if you're triggered, there's nothing wrong with you. So we're here to help you, and I want to pull up our information about what it is that we do so that you can connect with us. We have multiple ways each week that you can connect with us for free. Go ahead.
Oh, well, I just wanted to remind everyone that we are here every single Monday live. If you can't join us live, that's okay, because 24/7, 365, we have so many places where you can find us. Not only if you message us and then ask us about getting plugged into one of our private secret Facebook groups where you have 24/7, 365 round-the-clock support someone in some time zone, but you can always go to Twitter and use the hashtag #NoMoreShame. And whoever wakes up first, whoever's on whatever time zone, you're going to get a response from one of us. And you can also email us, and whenever we're available, or someone in our support groups are available. And if you have not signed up for our email list to receive encouraging updates to us and receive invites to online events that we have coming up, please do that. Please go to NoMoreShameProject.com or go to TraumaRecoveryUniversity.com and just click on one of the tabs anywhere that says like contact or sign up or email or whatever it is, and we will add you to our list, and we'll make sure that you get an invite to every single thing that we do, and you get an encouragement from us whenever you'd like it. And we're not going to spam you and send you a million different things. I don't think we've really sent out hardly any emails to anyone except for congratulatory emails to people that participated in our anthology. So don't be afraid to sign up.
Yes, we are not scary.
We're friendlies. We are friendlies. I promise you that we are friendlies, and that's with the plural S, friendlies. There's two of us, and we are friendly. We are friendlies.
Okay. Let's take a look at the schedule for the week, and these are multiple ways that you can connect with us that don't cost you a dime. Like I talked about earlier, we have 2 Twitter chats every week, and they are public, so know that if you have not made your history of abuse known to people, this may be a little bit of a difficult way for you to interact with us because it is in a public forum. If that's the case, pop on over to Facebook, friend us, and ask to join one of our support groups, because those are completely secret. They're completely private. Even if someone searches for one of our support groups in the search bar on Facebook, it will not come up. we are completely underneath the radar. So just want to give you that heads up. Our first Twitter chat of the week is on Mondays. The hashtag is CSAQT, Child Sexual Abuse Question Time. That's 10 a.m. Pacific time in the US, 6 p.m. Greenwich Mean Time in the UK. And then Tuesday night is our second Twitter chat, and the hashtag for that is Sex Abuse Chat. This is the original Sex Abuse Chat Twitter chat. We've been doing this one for now about a year and a half. It is at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And for those in the UK who can't sleep or who work nights, it's at 2 a.m. in the morning for you. And then here we are. We're here every Monday night we have not canceled once. Even when it was on Christmas Eve, even when sweet Athena's father passed away, we are here. We are committed to being here every Monday, so you know you can count on us being here. And so every Monday night at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, or again, for those of you in the UK who can't sleep, we're here at 2 a.m. Tuesday mornings with all of you. And again, if you want to binge watch, just pop on over to our YouTube channel or Roku TV if you have a Roku device. And I think we probably have pretty close to between 40 and 50 episodes, 1-hour episodes of content on everything from coping with medical examinations to executive functioning to, let's see, all sorts of things. So forgiveness, faith, everything. So pop on over there. You can watch as many episodes as you can stand. And also, you can ask us at any time, of course, to join one of our support groups. Athena and I both also do one-to-one coaching, and we have some group coaching programs. So if you're interested in that, let us know, and we can share with you rates and fees and help you get plugged in where it would be most beneficial for you. So
I would love to just let everybody know that when you send us a voicemail on my website at athenamoberg.com or a message from traumarecoveryuniversity.com, or you reach out to Bobby at bobbyparish.com, wherever it is that you contact us and you send us private messages letting us know that you start your day off watching us or listening to us, it pretty much puts us on a cloud for like a week because we're so blessed that we're able to reach you. So don't stop saying nice things and don't stop reminding us if we are helping you. And as always, if you'd like to continue to receive these broadcasts for free, we need you to press the like button. We need you to share it with people and tell the world what it is that we're doing so that we don't have to go work day jobs locally in Dallas, Texas, and Hawaii, because the time that we spend doing that, we can't be here with you. So share us, please, and like us. And we don't normally say that, but because it sounds a little bit like begging, and I don't really like that. But if you like us, tell someone. So, yeah. What do you think, Bobby? Did I forget anything?
I can't think of anything. So there's a few more days. Submit your essay or poetry to us for the anthology. Make sure you do that. And I'm not sure when any of you might be watching this, so this is applicable if you're watching this before the beginning of June 2015. So, and if it's 2016, know that we're probably taking submissions for the 2016 anthology. So check the website.
I think we need to start accepting submissions for our anthology year-round, and then depending on whatever year that we're going to be publishing in, then we'll say yes or no to your submission. But the earlier you get the submission in, the better. So just send us your submissions. Send us your works of poetry, your works of prose. It has to be nonfiction. We don't want any Pinocchio stories coming and put in our anthology. So we don't want to hear stories that are not true. We want to hear your truth. And this year's topic, like Bobby was saying earlier, is discovering community. How has community impacted you in your recovery journey? How has being in contact with us? We're your community. We're friendlies. You're our family. So how has that helped you? It's pretty easy to write about someone that's helped you. So if being in community with someone else has helped you in your recovery journey, jot down some of your thoughts, ask someone for a second set of eyes, shoot it on over to us, and you could become a published author. Now, don't just send anything just sloppy or anything. You know, really put your heart and soul and love into it, and we would just be so stoked to be published with you. So just send in your submissions, nomoreshameproject@gmail.com, and you can address it to Bobby Parrish and Athena Moberg. And next week's topic is procrastination. And abuse survivors deal with procrastination in exponential levels, more so than normals, because our executive functioning, the different fears we have PTSD sometimes, we have different triggers or other mental health issues that we struggle with. And I know, ooh, she said the MH word. I know there's such a stigma attached to anything mental health related, but we're here to tell you that there's no shame in your mental illness, and there's no shame in anything that you're going through. You're not alone. And if you procrastinate and you're not sure if it's survivor related or if it's just a human thing, then maybe you should search our database for a procrastination video and tune in live next week. All right?
Yes. We'll be here.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye.